So just a couple quick fire questions. Rapid
Yeah,
fire, I guess.
sure. Yeah.
What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
Rudy. I think Rudy. Yeah, the love for a walk-on student athlete's always my favorite. Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
And you said what? So you said you watch college football. What are some of your favorite teams?
Probably the school I went to is probably the one, or where my son was playing college football. Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, you have those places like, to me, the military academies like Army you have to take a pilgrimage to go see West Point play. You got to take a pilgrimage to see Army Navy game. It is just the pureness of the sport and the pureness of the kids that are playing in it. Every time they're singing the songs, the alma mater songs at the end of the game, I just get all emotional because
Yeah.
I love the two parts of how lucky we are to be living in the United States, and these kids are dedicated their life to the military, that this important part of their life, and then the love and the sacrifice it takes to play a sport like football, which is so different and unique. You put those two together, to me, that's just so powerful. So yeah. So there you go.
What's maybe something that you know about playing football that people who've never played it would be surprised to know, like part of the routine or whatever?
It's a 12-month a year sport. It really is. People say you don't do it, but you train, think about it. You train 9 months really super hard, and you only get to play 10 games.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And all through college, it's, it's 5 a.m. on February. You're dragging your butt. You have team weightlifting and strength and conditioning, and it never ends. And in the summertime, even harder. And if you can make it through a football camp, you can make it through anything. It's psychologically draining and hard. But I would tell you this, that the guys that I played with is definitely a reflection. If you spend any time, and I think every sport's like this, but particularly in football, because it is such a violent sport, I never saw black and white. I just saw good guys and bad guys. I never, ever, ever saw, to me, is your character is so judged on double sessions, 90 degrees out. You're dead tired. You could hardly walk, and you still got 2 hours left to practice, and you could hardly move your body, and you got to do it the next day. And then you got to do it the next day. You got to do it the next day. The character of people are revealed, and your bonding is just a life brotherhood that never ends. So I think if everybody could have an opportunity to play football, we would have no racial issues in the United States. I can guarantee that.
Wow.
Yeah, I could guarantee that. Anybody who's played the sport is probably nodding their head now and says, "Oh yeah, I know." They're just, you don't see it. You're colorblind when you play a sport that hard together. And I think military's like that. I think the guys who are in the Marines and stuff, because there is no favorites. The coaches equally don't like any of you, and the relationships that you build with going through such a tough environment and trying to reach a goal together, and you're based upon your character and your quality and your ability, not the color of your skin. To me, that's the greatest education you could get. And I was fortunate enough to play in a very cultural diverse, high school and youth sports and college. I mean, a lot of my teammates, we played together since we were Pop Warner. We played Pop Warner high school and college football together. We played 12 years of football on the same team. Awesome, right?
Yeah.
And brothers to this day, and we kind of laugh about it as like, man, what you learn as an adult, you look at things differently, but you always reflect back to, but you'll always be my brother, you know, and you mean it. And there's this respect level because of the things you went through. So I would say that's probably it. It's probably what people don't realize about it. 99% of the guys are great guys. Especially the offensive defensive linemen are probably the most down to earth, salt of the earth guys you'll probably ever meet in your life. It's always the flashy guys, that give football players a bad rap,
That is true. Those are the ones typically making the headlines. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more questions. Okay, no, let me do this one first. If you could have tickets for the rest of your life to any sporting event every time it happens, US or worldwide, what event are you going to?
Summer or Winter Olympics.
Boom, love it.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. It's on my bucket list. I was hoping I get out to Tokyo this year for this one because the old company I had, we had partnerships with FIBA for 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, okay.
So we did all the qualifiers in the United States. And I couldn't wait to see it. I was helped them develop it here in the United States. I couldn't wait to get out to Tokyo this past summer. And yeah, that was my first chance of doing it. And it just something romantic about the Olympics to begin
Oh,
with.
yeah.
And you meet an Olympic athlete and they're just different human beings.
Yeah.
You know, they're unique human beings. So.
Yeah, we've gotten to interview Kelsey Campbell, who's a wrestler, on our other podcast. And it's just like the mental toughness and especially for some of those sports that get totally overlooked except once every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're trying to have a few more of those type of sports and athletes on. Okay, last question.
Yes.
Who is like, so not necessarily favorite athlete, but just like anyone in sports, who's like your sports hero? It might be a scout, a coach, athlete, whoever, like a sports hero of yours.
Man, there's so many of them. Someone I'm going and I'm drilling down on people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I'm trying not to be cliche, but I just thought what Pat Tillman did was just incredible. You know, to be in the NFL for as long as he was and be at a high level, and then 9/11 happened, and he just felt this obligation, you know, this obligation to join the military. There's a lot of people that talk about doing something, that making a difference. There's a lot of chatter about politics even now, but there's very few people that actually do something and put action behind it. It's just like being an entrepreneur. There's a lot of people that have ideas, but do they put action behind it? That's why, Ashley, I always say it every time, the amount of respect I have for you and everybody else out there doing this. You could talk all you want about an idea, but do something about it. Mm-hmm. And Pat Tillman did something about it. You know, he put action. Say what you want about Colin Kaepernick as well. I mean, you know, good or bad or indifferent, but there's action behind it, you know, and action makes things happen. It causes friction. It causes people to be uncomfortable. It causes conversations to happen. Pat Tillman sacrificed his life on conviction on what he believed in, that he had to take action, and a very, very hard thing for him to do. In so many ways that none of us will ever know because we're not in that position. But I would say people like Pat Tillman who put action behind it, follow their conviction in sports and do high character quality things with their life like that. Those are my heroes. Those are the people that I look up to the most. And it could be a small little action too, but someone like that, yeah, it's pretty incredible human beings.
Yeah, inspiring for sure. Well, thanks again for joining me today. And where can people find you or find information about GamePlanU? It's kind of whatever you want to promote. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can follow me on all my social media platforms, which Instagram is the one I'm on the most at Rob Thompson Live. And then find me on LinkedIn as well. So I'm based in Sarasota, Florida. So you'll see it on my headlines. So it's Rob Thompson, I think 7878. Really, you know, that's creative. And guess what my number was. And then rob@gameplanu.org is my email. So go to gameplanu.org. So everything's on there. Ashley has a video she's our featured rock star on there as well. So everything about what we do at GamePlanU and how we connect startup founders in the sports tech space to investors, collaborators, and then our career seekers as well. So that's it.
Thanks again, Rob, for joining. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.